Hey guys, how are we doing? Crypto Insight UK here, bringing you back another video. So we've got tons to talk about in this video. I'm going to discuss what's going on in crypto, what I think comes next, and basically what I think happens for XRP next as well. So obviously stick around, but to start with, I'm just going to try and lay the foundation so you understand like where everything is and why I think all this could be happening and how it could happen. I did a few tweet threads yesterday. I'm going to try and discuss them and explain them to you in real time. And I'm just going to zoom through them so you don't have to read it all. But go and find them on X. And I go into more detail in my newsletter, which is linked in the bio, completely free, linked to the description of this video. So basically what I've been saying for a while now, which is what allowed me to call for the bottom on April the 9th. We called this prior. We said that the Bitcoin chart is lagging the DXY by about 11 weeks on an inverse correlation. And this is how we could potentially see a $150,000 top for Bitcoin or a $100,000 price action for Bitcoin by June the 9th. Because of what I basically did is I overlaid the DXY's candles inversely onto Bitcoin. And I also said that that the liquidity matches up with this as well, as we've had this move up in price. We've seen shorts increases. Yeah, there's been a red bar just increase here. That's only increased the last like 2 or 3 days. And remember this because I'm going to get into XRP in a minute. We're going to talk about something similar. So what I also then said is when Bitcoin broke out of this range, we talked about this before, when it got the close of this white line here and started to move into this area, that's when alts really started to outperform in the November sort of period. And actually, if we look at XRP again, this is more easier to see if we, let's see if I can zoom in. I don't know if I can while I'm videoing, I can't. But easier to see on the weekly newsletter, obviously. But basically, this period here was when XRP moved up like a massive 470% in the space of about 28 days. Then I said, one thing to remember though is that 104,000 was where I said that we were most likely to like wait, stall out, / have a pullback. Because we've taken all of the short-term liquidity. That's essentially why I said that. I said it doesn't mean the move's over. It just means there's no like clear path in the short term for us to keep munching up liquidity, which is why I said the 104K was the area to stall out. And if we look where Bitcoin is and has been for the last like few days, essentially been stalling out 104K. Now, it does look to me to be pretty bullish, and I would expect we probably do continue higher, or there's a lot of liquidity now below. So also, when we get an ABC correction or some sort of correction, we'll probably quite quickly just lose those levels as people just get stopped out of long positions, and that'll be a great time to re-enter, which I actually say in the continuation of this post. I basically say I'll get there in a second. I'm not going to ruin the end. I said next I want to discuss gold. Gold is an instant reflection on broader macro uncertainty, which could be about to change, meaning when uncertainty is high, gold rallies. When it falls, we can presume that some of the capital runs off into Bitcoin and crypto. When people are more certain on markets and monetary policy, they will move from the protectionary asset like gold, which is protecting their wealth, into something they think is going to increase their wealth, and that is in the last few years the best asset for that has been crypto. And then I've referenced that US and China are in trade talks, and we're supposedly having since this thread, we supposedly have an announcement today between the US and China. What that might be, I don't know. Russia, Ukraine are looking to find some sort of agreement and are potentially meeting this Thursday. And also the Pakistan and India conflict has come to an end. So at the minute anyway, at least. So what's the US trade deal going to be with China today? I don't know, but I think people aren't pricing it in properly. Even if there's not a full announcement of a trade deal today, which I presume will take time, what you can at least see is that they are discussing with each other on a very positive level, and they're having a joint announcement. Whether that means that the whole trade deal will be done or not, it doesn't really matter to me. What it's basically indicating is it's kind of like when the Fed cut rates. They're not going to go back to tightening rates again. They're at some point going to just continue to cut. And that's what I presume will come from this trade deal, is there at least this dialect on a positive level. And even if it might not be the complete deal, which it could be, and they will probably just continue to be positive dialect throughout. And then I also said that when, and I showed an example of Bitcoin and gold correlation in price, said that when Bitcoin and gold do trend in the same direction, but on the short term they are inversely correlated. And I've shown that this on the left is Bitcoin and gold normally, and then this is inversely correlated gold. So what you can see is they do pretty much trace each other, but Bitcoin does outperform percentage-wise. Then I've said essentially that gold's market cap is now $22 trillion, and I would be looking for around a 17% pullback in gold, and that would give us about $4 trillion that could run off into crypto, which just on its own would double the crypto market cap. Not even if we take into consideration supply and demand dynamics, because I think that it doesn't take much capital to move price higher, because the market cap is a bit of an illusion. It's more based on supply and demand. And I think that the supply is low, as we've been seeing institutions scooping up supply. I've been talking about this for a while as well. So it's not going to take a lot of demand to be able to push price significantly higher and give the illusion that market cap is going up massively. Finally, the big one, this is what I've been talking about. This is where I'm going to get into XRP now in a second. I said the Bitcoin dominance. I talked about this in YouTube last week, and I talked about it in the newsletter for the last few weeks as well. I said that one of these two areas is where I think that Bitcoin dominance will go to. This white pullback here is this area, and this grey one. Oh no, sorry. This white is this area, and this grey one is this area. But but from the high above the range, basically saying that Bitcoin dominance could come down to 39%, or all the way down to around 27%. One thing that I did say is I have one word of caution, is that we didn't quite reach my reversal zone by about 0.3%, but it could be enough that we front run it already, but I'm not 100% sure. But Bitcoin dominance chart does look weak with a bearish divergence on the weekly time frame, and the stochastic RSI looking to move from the overbought area and plummeting pretty quickly. What I've then said is this move downwards that we've seen so far in Bitcoin dominance was only about 4.7%, and is that right? 66 to 60, yeah, about 4.7%. Oh, I did the maths a bit wrong here. But anyway, it was only about 4.7%, and the rest of the move could be about 40% from where we are, or up to 57%. So that would be a 10 to 18x any move that we've already seen. Just for like ETH, for example, like ETH moved up 40%, you could do 10 times that very easily. And if you go out the risk curve, you could see 10 to 100x's very easily across other assets. And then essentially now I'm going to just look at XRP. We love XRP on this channel, as you know. I'll look at XRP in 1 second, sorry. Like ETH has had its first like ripping rally. And this is where I think that ETH is like trying to do the same sort of rally that XRP did from back in November. So I think XRP is leading the market. So then whatever XRP does next, which I think will be one of the most, probably XRP's most aggressive wave, being the third wave that is coming, in my opinion, for XRP that I've been talking about. That's what will come later for the rest of altcoins. So essentially, I think ETH's trying to catch up with the move that XRP did in November. And then I think XRP is getting ready for its next move higher. So the next move after the move that ETH's already done, XRP did that back in November. Excuse me. So that's what I think is going to happen here for XRP. If I take us to the weekly time frame, this is where it gets exciting for me. We've been holding. Let's get back on the logarithmic. We've been holding the recent or the previous range high as support for about 23 weeks now, and we have come up from the overbought area on the stochastic RSI, as you can see, just down here. That's bullish. I'm waiting to see if we get this bullish cross. This week will confirm whether we get a bullish cross on the weekly. The last time we had a weekly bullish cross was literally this candle here. And then the next candles were very aggressive and large. And I expect us to have at least this sort of aggressive move, if not more, if we're right with Elliott wave theory. And we've got wave 1 here, and then wave 2 correction is this area, and then wave 3 should be the most aggressive wave, or at least in Elliott wave theory, it shouldn't be the smallest wave. Wave 3 cannot be the smallest wave. So you'd expect probably at least equal length to wave 1, if not more, realistically. And then obviously a wave 4 consolidation before wave 5 blow off. That's what I think is coming for XRP. I think XRP is leading the market. I think ETH's somewhere in this area, in this push, and XRP is about to take its next leg, which is going to be substantially larger than the previous leg and probably make ETH's move look pretty small. But again, based on when Bitcoin breaks out of its range. And we're going to look at XRP now and the 4-hourly, and this is what I'm going to show you guys. Remember how I said a minute ago we're going to come back to what I said about Bitcoin? Well, as XRP's moved up towards this like 240, 250 cent level, what we've seen is actually shorts have started to come into the market. And I think at some point very soon, maybe today, maybe tomorrow, or in the next few days, XRP will start to squeeze these shorts out. And as we start to squeeze these shorts out, XRP will more aggressively start to move to the upside, and you'll see more dense amount, or this liquidity get denser as more people try and short the move and think, oh, okay, XRP is having a short-term top here. So I presume we'll quite quickly move up towards a 340 level. And from there, what we'll have to see then is whether we get some sort of reaction and more people come in shorter above. So what I would expect, some sort of movement, and don't quote me on time here, but let's say something like this, and then more shorts come in to this area, and then everyone's thinking, oh, okay, this is the top, and we probably get that, and then boom, up to the next short level, and then again it happens here, and then maybe some consolidation here, and then we boom up again, and then very quickly we're up at 380 sort of level, and everyone's like, oh shit, XRP is at all-time high. It'd be lovely then if we came back and back tested this previous all-time high just for a bounce, and then started to really rip it for that third wave that I was talking about. And if I give you an example of like the sort of length that this third wave could go to, just showing you very, very rough drawing here. I think that this third wave could take us significantly higher based on what happened here. Look, as you can see, every single time we moved up, the explosion got like a little bit larger. So big explosion, consolidation, little break, big explosion, consolidation, explosion, and then consolidation. And then I think, boom, this next one's going to be like this, but on steroids, it's going to be like, I think it'll be something like this, boom. Like literally all the way towards anywhere between $8 to $12, maybe even towards 15 if we get something absolutely chaotic, which I think is possible if you think that $4 trillion could rotate into the market and Bitcoin dominance starts to lose strength at that sort of time as well. That's just on this wave up, and then whether we get the fifth wave or not, which I think we will later on in the year, and that's where the discussion comes in for that. But yeah, if Bitcoin dominance continues this unwind and capital flows into the market, I presume Bitcoin goes to 150 to 180 and alts rally significantly, with XRP probably leading the charge when it breaks out of this range, or at least leading the charge for large caps, as we've seen the previous move for XRP. So that's essentially where I think we are and what I think is coming. And I'm going to leave you there. Like you don't have to agree with me. I don't really care if you do or you don't. I've given you guys the opportunities and told you what I've been doing for this whole period of uncertainty while everyone's been screaming the world's ending. I've been buying also ENA. We've talked about this on the newsletter. I'm not affiliated with anything that I talk about. I have no affiliations with anything. But I was buying ENA as a beta play for ETH, and we bought at 30 cent. We're now at 42. We were down last week. So if you bought just last week, listening to my YouTube, you're up probably like, 40% just on ENA. So that'd be great for you. CRV, I've been talking about a lot as well. It's doing pretty well. And yeah, that's basically it, guys. XRP and Flare. I'm watching for Flare's breakout. I think that's probably coming too. But I think XRP is going to be one that's going to go very soon. And I think people are going to be shitting themselves when they see how fast it goes, if I'm right. And I'm not necessarily saying that I'm going to be, but that's when my eggs are. They're all in that basket. And my bets are placed. So I put my money where my mouth is on this channel, as you guys know. It is what it is. I think we're about to see a ripper for XRP. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. If you enjoyed the video, please hit the like button, subscribe, and share it with a friend. That really would mean a lot to me if you would do that. And if you haven't read my newsletter yet, please do check it out. I go into more detail on a lot of different things. Peace up, A-Town Dance, crypto, like UK would say.